Welcome all in the JavaScript tutorial series in the fifth video of JavaScript loops. In this video, we'll learn about loops and JavaScript, how do they work, and types of them. So let's understand what is a loop. Loop is a block of code that runs iteratively as many times as we want. So this is a diagram that you might not understand right now. So we'll just try some example. So we are in our folder. Let's see console.log. If I want to print 1 to 10 numbers, how would I do in with the knowledge so we have so far? So we'll just print console log 1 and then let's try it with 5 numbers. All right. We need to change it to make it 3, 4, this is 5. And we want to, if you want to see the output, we just go here and hit refresh. You see, this uh, is a right way, but this is a long, like if we have to execute a bunch of code, then it will take long time and more space to do this. So instead, we have loops. So the first loop we'll study, and that is most used loop, that is for loop. So let's let's learn how to do that. First for keyword, then we declare a variable with the keyword let. I'll explain you why we use let. Let me just complete this. I equal to 0, a variable, a semicolon, then this is the initialization of for loop. So here our for loop will begin with the value I equal to 0. Then it will go till I is less than 5, and after every step it will update the expression with I++. After every iteration, it will increment the I. So we can achieve I less than 5. If we didn't add this, I will never become 5 or greater than 5. So this for loop will go till infinity. All right. It will iterate infinite times. That will crash our system. All right. So let's do this. We can write our console log, and here instead of writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here we'll just write I, because the value of I will increment with every iteration. All right. Let's see. We don't need this code. We'll just remove this. And let's see. It's starting from 0 because we started our loop from 0 and it is ending till 4. But if you want a sequence from 1 to 5, we'll start with 1 and end it with 6. All right. We have learned these operators in our previous video. If you haven't check that out because you need that in this video, right? So if there is one more way to do that, to print 1 to 5, if we start from 0 and 5 equal to, or we can say if we add equal to, it will, let's see how it works. It will still print 1 to 5 because this condition is I is less than equal to 5. So here the condition matches and the execution will stop. After every iteration, I will increment. Uh, so far, this is our initialization. This is the condition. This is the update expression, and this is our code loop body. All right, let's see that in our diagram. You see how it works. First, initialization starts with the value I equal to 1 or 0. All right, for now we'll just go back to where we started. I equal to this. All right, initialization begins. Then we check the condition. If I is less than 5, if it is true, then it will execute the loop body, that is our console log. If it is false, then loop will terminate. But if the value is less than I is less than 5, it will execute the loop body and update the expression, that is I plus plus, and also it will go back to the test condition again. So it will keep on doing that until this condition is matched or it returns false. All right. Before going to the types of array, we need to understand what is let and var. You've seen me using most of the time var, but we can also use let and constant. So let's first understand let. What is let? If I try to print console.log, console.log, I, let's see, it is giving an exception because I is not accessible, or I is not a variable outside the for loop, because let makes let will make the scope of the variable inside that block of the code. So this I is only valid inside this for loop. Alright, that's why we use let. But what if we use var? And let's see if it is printing something. Here you see it is printing the value 5. I'll just make it a little more clear. I, comma, you see it is printing, but if I make it let, it will not allow to do that. It will throw an uncaught error. All right, because we are using let. So let's go ahead with this knowledge. We'll go to what, let's understand foreign first. So we'll create an array. For that we'll use let array equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. Now we have an array. To print an array, we'll use some variable I, like we used here. I, for that we need to give let I in array, and with our curly brackets we'll do console.log I, and let's print this. For now we'll just comment this code. We can do multi-line comment using this. All right, let's refresh. We see you can print, we are printing the value of I but not this, so we'll just make it array square bracket. So we are incrementing through the loop. You see it is printing the value. If I change it like 11, 22 and 33, it will print that. All right, but this loop is only used for arrays or objects. It is not used to print some like we used here console log or number. It is preferred using for array. All right, then let's move ahead with while and do while. You see in our, we have while and do while to cover. So let's do it quickly. So now you understand what is the condition, what is the increment. It will be easy to do that. So first, in the first pair of brackets, we will give our condition, that is I is less than 5. Then we'll write our code block, or block of code, that is console.log, and print the value of I. All right. But if you remember, here we had this I plus plus, that is our increment or update expression. But here we didn't have. If I execute this, it will crash my browser, because it will never reach the state where this condition is false. All right. So every time it will check, it is always true. So it will keep on incrementing. So again, we remove that code. We need to declare that variable let, or we can do that. We don't do this in the while. We do this before the while. So let I is equal to 0 and I plus plus. Here we'll give the update expression after or before the code body. So if I execute this, it will again give the incremental output. Similar to that, we have do while. So let's comment this again. And remember, we use comment. So that commented code won't affect the code which is uncommented. All right. So let's go for do while, do curly brackets, and at the last we write while and our condition. All right. So what we did, we will just do the same in the condition part, and this part. But in this case, the first iteration will not check the condition. It will execute this block of code irrespective of this condition uh, matches or not. It fails or not. All right. So let's execute this. I is not defined again. Of course, let I equal to 0. All right. Let's do this. So it is printing. All right. So if I just make it to I less than 0. So if I do this here, it will not work. But since it is a do while loop, it will execute at least one time. So if you see, it is printing at least one iteration. If I start with 1, you'll see it is printing 1 because it is doing at least one iteration. It is printing at least one time, then it is failing. All right. So this is all we had for our loops in JavaScript video. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. And in the next video, we'll see more about JavaScript. So stay tuned and see you in the next video.